has to be the world's smallest sidewalk. So this morning we are on our way back to the Forbidden City. We did look it up and confirm last night that the Forbidden City is closed on Mondays. So that was our big mistake. But we are heading there right now, and they have an 80,000 cap on people who can come in and visit it per day. And they want you to buy tickets online, but it's all only in Chinese. So they said foreigners have to find a Chinese friend to buy it for them if they want it like that. And so otherwise, if you want to get tickets, you can do it at the Forbidden City, but they said there's going to be long lines. So we're trying to get there and try to secure ourselves 2 tickets of that 80,000 and see if we get to see the Forbidden City finally. So it looks like we're actually going to get in. So we gotta go try to figure out where we can find tickets since we didn't have any Chinese friends to buy us tickets online.
So it turns out it is off season, so we were able to get half price tickets. Yep. So that's great. And online it made it sound like we might not get tickets because of long lines, but I think since it's off season, we lucked out.
Yeah, there are no lines at all. And it was only 80 CNY for both of us to get in. And then also, in true Chinese tourist fashion, there are no signs pointing to anything. There's not even like a sign saying ticket office. You just walk up, and luckily there was some Americans walking out, and they were like, yeah, just go ahead, go in. Just that's where you buy tickets. So otherwise, like, we would have had no clue. So bizarre. But here we go now through the ticket and security check. Made it inside of the Forbidden City, and we've made it past a few different gates, and then we're coming into the inner courts, I guess. So from what I've learned, there was like multi-levels to the Forbidden City, and like the more high-ranking you were, the farther you got to go into the Forbidden City. And then like there was a point where it was just like almost strictly like the emperor and his eunuchs and his concubines and his family. So I think we're reaching that point. I think we're reaching like the actual like imperial like main throne room or hall. Online they have estimations that it's supposed to take like 2, 3, 4 hours to get through this place if you want to see like, kind of like the bare minimum, because it's so expansive. So I pretty much have dedicated like this whole day to seeing this, I think. So we're gonna walk around for a really long time and see everything we can find. So the building we're entering is the Hall of Supreme Harmony, and this is, I guess, where it was saying that all of like the major events for the emperor was held. So like the emperor's birthdays, weddings, coronations, and the emperor's examination results were read out here for the court. And so we're going to, this is the highest ranking building in all of China. And so it's built up super high, and on the corners it has like 10 decorations on each corner, which is like the highest ranking that you can have. So this is like the most important building in China for during the emperor's time. Of course. There you go. Yes.
I am a movie star these days.
Aubrey's celebrity status continues and it grows as people continue to ask. Like specifically, it's like, can I take a picture with her? Oh, you don't want me in it? Okay, I get it. And she says, she's just so beautiful. We watched a documentary before we came out here so that we could learn more about it and have like some knowledge as we're going into it. And so we learned that the palace complex is built in the 1400s again. I think it started in 1407. And this huge building was burnt down 3 times. The first time was just 100 days after opening. And then the second time it burnt down, both times were due to a lightning strike because it's the tallest building in China, or at least in the Beijing area. And so it was just susceptible to lightning strikes. And then the third time was actually because they said like it was 6 eunuchs set it on fire, so they were punished by beheading. But anyway, so this one now was rebuilt in the 1600s, and it's pretty impressive. We're walking around the rest of the compound, and it's just like gold tiled roofs everywhere, which signify the royal or the imperial family. And just pretty incredible to walk around and see how much there actually is in here and how much was off limits and forbidden to the rest of China unless you were like of a certain status. So one of the differences that we've learned between Western and Eastern dragon lore is that in Eastern mythology, dragons spew water rather than fire. And so around each of the tiers of these buildings, they have these dragons, and you can see like in their mouth are these holes. And so they act as like water runoff. So the water runs down the platform through their head and then spews out of their mouth, just like they do in their stories that the dragons spew water. It's also supposed to be like a protection against fires, they say, because dragons are supposed to bring rain and water, so hopefully it like will protect the buildings from burning down. But they've had quite the history of burning down, so not quite sure that's worked out, but it's beautiful looking. All around the palace there are these huge bronze cauldrons, and so they look decorative, but then we just read that they're actually a fire prevention system. So these were filled with water year round. In the wintertime they had coal underneath them to make sure the water didn't freeze so they would burn. And so I guess that's what they use when things are set on fire. They have the big huge water sources to try to put the fire out. We're really understanding why this was called the Forbidden City, because you kind of lose track of what you've seen and what you haven't seen as you walk through like this huge complex with tons of streets and sidewalks and buildings and corridors and entries. It seems endless as you're walking around and just seeing all of the different buildings that they have. And through all the different buildings, they have different like exhibits, like Buddha statues or stone carvings and whatnot. No, it wasn't. So now we're going up to the top of the wall and also of the, I think it's the Meridian Gate. So we're gonna go see what kind of views we have. I think it's the biggest gate at the complex, and so it should be a pretty good view at the top.
We are exiting the Forbidden City, and we were here for hours. Probably could have stayed here even longer. This place is huge, but it is getting bitterly cold, and so we are leaving to go find some food and to go back to our hotel room.
Before we came to Beijing, we were watching videos about different scams and stuff and how to look for them and keep away from them. And one of the videos we found, I'll put a link to his video in the description, but he talked about a coffee and like beer scam here where they'll try to get you into a coffee house that is unmarked and like not a brand, and then they'll like just have crazy menus where I guess like you'll order a tea, but then they'll have like a Chinese underneath the price, like where they'll like have exorbitant prices that you don't understand the price or how it all works. And so he was saying it's just a crazy scam. They'll get you in there and they will just overcharge you for the teas or coffees that you buy. So he said never go into any of these coffee shops or teas that aren't marked down this street. And so we were walking on the sidewalk, and sure enough, there's a guy who was trying to get us to go into his coffee shop, trying to offer coffee, which is a super cold day, so I could see why somebody would go for it. So the video, the guy lets himself get scammed, goes into the coffee shop just so he can show you how it works. And we were being, the coffee shop the guy was trying to get us to go into was that exact coffee shop. So I'll put the link in the description so you can watch that. And just be aware of just scams like that on the streets around here, just so you can just walk right by like we did. Just like I saw it, I saw that in the video, and that is where he went, and that's not a good place to be going, because they were saying like there's even like they'll have muscle guys who will force you to pay just like thousands of dollars for these like cups of tea that you thought you ordered, but ends up they'll bring you just crazy things. So I'm not doing a good job of describing it. Just watch the video. I just can't believe that we saw that exact coffee shop where he was getting scammed here, and then we were being offered to go in and get some coffee. This meal we got a kung pao chicken, but it's a vegetarian chicken, and so we think that it's actually tofu that's these big chunks rather than actual chicken pieces. It's got red bell peppers, green bell peppers, chili peppers, peanuts, and all kinds of spices, but it's super good. It's kind of got a little bit of a spice and a little bit of a sweetness to it. And then over here we got sweet and sour chicken again. This time it is fried, and so it's battered and fried, and it looks like it has like, maybe that's like a zucchini. No, I don't know what that would be. It's cucumber. Yeah, maybe cucumber, and then pineapples, and then just like, of course, the classic like sweet and sour sauce. But then also we got white rice as usual, and then I got a Coke. And so just a funny little point, but these cans of Cokes are actually cheaper than the waters here, and so that's why I went ahead and got that. But the meals come out family style again, and this one is so good. And we got all of this, the white rice, the 2 entrees, that comes out family style like the other restaurants. All of this is 92 CNY, so fairly inexpensive, but super, super good. So we're gonna sit here and enjoy this meal and relax for a little while, because we are exhausted, because it's only, I mean, it's 3:40 right now. This is our first meal besides just like the little breakfast that we had in our room, so we are starving. That food is just so good. I had to order some more to go, so I got some more of that sweet and sour chicken. I'm gonna eat that in the room later. I hope we can set out for a while, but it is, yeah, I love that food. But now there's a really good pastry shop down the street, and so we're gonna go there and try to get some pastries for some snacks later, and then also for breakfast tomorrow morning. So we have delicious pastries in hand and my chicken, sweet and sour chicken in hand. And so we're gonna carry these back to the room and we're gonna call it a night. It gets dark here pretty early, about 5 o'clock, but my legs are just on fire from the last 2 days of tons of walking. Aubrey's doing a lot better than I am in terms of soreness. Anyways, we're gonna go back to the hotel. We're calling it a night. And then tomorrow we should be getting out. Hopefully we're gonna go see the panda exhibit. And then there's I think it's like a well over 600-year-old duck restaurant. And so we think we're gonna try to get that in before we leave on Friday. So yeah, so we got an exciting day to look forward to tomorrow also. Thanks for watching as always, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this so everybody else can join in on our adventure.